Race of Champions. A perfect warm-up session during the winter months before the racing season begins. An organization that allows pilots from Formula One, Rally, IndyCar, Nascar, and all other series to race head-to-head on a single track. Fun, competition, and marginal tracks all together. Keeping up with the changing tracks and various vehicles is very important for adaptability. Also young-old, it is possible to see many motorsports legends who can still drive cars in this organization. What is this Race of Champions? Let's take a look at the details together. The beginning of the Race of Champions actually dates back to ancient times. This organization, which started in 1986 with the initiatives of one of the iconic names of motorsports, Michèle Mouton, has continued until today. A separate parenthesis should be opened for Michèle Mouton. She is one of the rare female names who managed to have her name written in gold letters in the history of motorsports. There are too many rally achievements to count here. So much so that Niki Lauda described her as Superwoman. This name, which was highly appreciated not only for his achievements but also for his outlook on life, continued to be intertwined with motorsports after he left the competition. It is actually the Race of Champions that started in memory of Henri Toivonen, who died in the Tour de Corse in 1986. He was a friend of Toivonen Mouton's race with, so Mouton wanted to honor him with the Race of Champions. It is highly competitive in terms of motorsports. It's such an interesting format. MotoGP, Formula One, NASCAR, Rally, IndyCar, whatever high-level series you can think of, champions and championship candidates who have made a name for themselves in their fields competed in this series. The most important detail of this event is that each fight is done with a different vehicle. Drivers are not aware of which vehicle they will race with until they get to the track, and they do not have the opportunity to prepare accordingly. Last year, Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport, RX Lights vehicles, RX Electric Rally Vehicle, FC1 XS, and Polaris Pro X Piece were used. Vehicles with such different dynamics are a good place to test the driving skills of the pilots. Different tire structures of vehicles, variety of fuels used, all of which affect affectivity on the track. The fact that all of the pilots competing in this event come from different disciplines, the biggest reason for using different tools. A single type of vehicle could enable certain series to dominate the event. Another variable factor is ground conditions. The tracks take on a different theme according to the climate and geographical structure of the country where the Champions Race is held. In its early years, this event was held around some of the major European circuits. Afterwards, battles were held on the Canary Island for many years. The fact that the rally drivers made a difference, especially on dirt, caused this situation to be reacted by the spectators. During this period, names such as Didier Auriol, Colin McRae, Carlos Sainz, and Sébastien Loeb dominated the event. With the 2000s, another format was added to the event. In the past, only drivers competed among themselves for the title of Champion of Champions, but in 1999, the Nations Cup began to be organized. The Nations Cup, on the other hand, was a tournament organized by two pilots representing a country. This situation managed to break the rally dominance to some extent, and we started to see different names from the Formula One world while they were winning. Heikki Kovalainen in 2004, Roman Grosjean in 2012, and Sebastian Vettel in 2015 became champions of champions. But in the Nations Cup, something different happened. Michael Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel duo managed to win all International Cup organizations between 2007 to 2012. Vettel's capture of such an important series with his idol Schumacher is really valuable. In addition, some of the images they gave in the Race of Champions are still in memory. Over the years, the Race of Champions continued to visit different geographies. Races were held in different continents such as Thailand, Barbados, USA, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. It is possible to see different themes in the location. The pilots, who have raced on the sands of Saudi Arabia before, will this year show off their skills on a frozen sea in Sweden. Those who watched the organization last year will remember that it was the scene of really contentious moments. Let's take a look at the teams and drivers that will compete in this year's Champions Race. The defending champions Sébastien Loeb and Adrien Tambay will represent France this year. It is certain that Loeb, who comes from the rally discipline, will be a strong candidate for the championship with his experience. His teammate Adrien Tambay is a name that competes in passenger cars. The names representing Germany are quite familiar. Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel will take the wheel for Germany. Vettel, who won the international championship with Baba Schumacher for years, will be teammates with Mick Schumacher again this year. Although Vettel reached the finals individually last year, it did not show much success in the dual nations classification. In the Finnish team, there are double world champions Mika Häkkinen and Valtteri Bottas. It will be enjoyable to follow this duo with their cold and funny demeanor. It wouldn't surprise us if two Finns make surprises on a track on ice. Norway is represented by last year's international champion duo Petter and Oliver Solberg. For those who do not know, Petter Solberg and Oliver Solberg are also competing as father and son in this event. Son Oliver is currently racing the Hyundai in the World Rally Championship. Baba Petter is a rallycross legend. Last year's international champion Norway can repeat its success this year. Johan Kristoffersson and Mattias Ekström will represent the host Sweden. Both names use different vehicles in very different series. This is a big plus for them. We mentioned that adaptation is very important. Ekström was the champion of champions 3 times before. This is an ambitious team. Regardless of countries, there is also a Scandinavian team. The drivers of the Scandinavian team are Le Mans legend Tom Kristensen and IndyCar driver Felix Rosenqvist. Especially, I think Kristensen will add color to the weekend. In the UK team, there are 2 names we are used to seeing on the screens, David Coulthard and Jamie Chadwick. If nothing changes, Chadwick will be the only female driver in the challenge. David Coulthard is a 2-time champion of champions. You have to be open to surprises. The United States team is 2 names that are not known in our country, representing Tanner Faust and Travis Pastrana. Both names are experienced and competed in very different series. In particular, they are also show drivers. Such a track can be a plus for them. Besides all these nation teams, there is also an all-star team. This team, made up of F2 champion Felipe Drugovich and rally driver Thierry Neuville, was probably formed because the drivers were unable to find a teammate from their own nation. This must be one of the weakest links of the event. While the season has not started yet, the perfect winter activity. It's a great weekend fun, especially these days when many motorsport lovers miss the races. Prepare your tea, coffee, enjoy the winter and the competition with the legendary names fighting each other on the ice. So who is your favorite driver? Don't forget to share it with me in the comments. Goodbye.